Is this your next dehydrator? Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Rovsun DH-508 5-tray food dehydrator. It's pretty darn nice. As you can see, it is actually a rectangular shape. A lot of dehydrators are round, but this one's actually much more sort of this square, very professional look to it. And it comes apart super easy. You can see each tray is a nice size. You use as many as you need, and then you turn it on, and it's 800 watts. You can do 30 minutes to 24 hours and a temperature of 95 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. It's all BPA free, food grade plastic, so there's no worries about anything coming off of this onto your food. That would not be good. Dishwasher safe, non-slip feet, so it's not going anywhere. And it's actually just a really nice, simple design. Now, I always think of dehydrators as like a hair dryer in a box, because in a lot of ways that's what it is. It's a little warm and it's just circulating air through your food. Now, we eat a lot of dehydrated apples and a lot of dehydrated bananas. Bananas are easiest because you don't need any special tools. You just cut it with a knife and then just place it on and turn on your dehydrator. Apples, I use a mandolin. Mandolins are super sharp. You have to be super careful. Use their little handle so that you don't slice your finger. Ugh, not good. But you can use this for jerky, you can dry tea, you can dry flowers if you're a scrapbooker, whatever. There's a lot of things you can do. Now, I am going to use this with apples, and for apples and fruit, given that moisture content, the optimal temperature is between 125 and 135 degrees. I'm going to opt for 125, and all that's controlled by this digital panel on the front. So it's really convenient to be able to just punch in the digits and set it exactly as you want. In fact, let me get everything cut, sliced, positioned on the trays, and then I'll show you how this all works. So let's jump into that cutting process. You can see one apple has given us 2 trays. So one criticism I'll have of this is that it would be nice to have more trays given the size, but that's okay. We got 2 trays. I'm going to do another apple, get 2 more trays, and then we'll get this thing turned on and we'll see how it goes. So let me just slice a little more, but this time you probably don't need to watch me. It's holding about 2.5 of these big apples. These are pretty big apples. So that gives you a sense that like each tray is about half of an apple. So you can see it packs pretty fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And this is where that digital interface is great. All right, we're ready to program our dehydrator, and it's pretty easy to work with. So turn it on, and then you can just barely see that's illuminated. If I push set, then that's illuminated. And I want to dial it to the temperature I want. We'll do that first. So we're going to get it down to 125, or as close as we can get. There's 124. And then we'll go to time, and I'm going to increment the time all the way to 24 hours. It's going to take a while for this to dehydrate the apple. And that's basically it. That's all you got to do, because now you can just sit back and let it do the work while you clean up after your cutting adventure. And there we go. So now it's all good to go, and after a couple of seconds it stops, as you can see. And now my dehydrator is ready to run for 24 hours and give us some delicious apple chips. I'll be right back. Well, I know I said I was going to wait 24 hours, but I sampled and I think it might be done now. So as you can see, I have over 8 hours left on this, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Now, it's super easy. When you're done, you can just start actually pulling off your dehydrated food, or better, you can go ahead and turn the device off. Now you're thinking, you turned it off, why is it still running? And the answer is that there's a 2-minute cool down cycle, and that's what you're experiencing right now, what I'm experiencing, I should say. And so it's going to cool the system down to make sure everything's fine. And while that's happening, let's go ahead and I'll take all the trays off and just show you, here's what the base looks like. And as you can see, unsurprisingly, there are a couple little bits that have fallen down. So a good dehydrator We'll go ahead and give this a wipe down after every single use. But for now, let me put all the trays back on, and we'll just see if we're in good shape and ready to go. And that's easy to ascertain by trying to pull some pieces off. And this is a tiny bit sticky, so I might be jumping the gun a little bit here. So there's two things that I could have done differently, by the way. One of which is a lot of people, when they dehydrate apples, they brush a tiny bit of a sort of lemon and water mix on it. See, it's cooled off. And that stops it from turning brown. But honestly, I can guarantee that my kids and I don't give a hoot about the fact that it's turned brown. If that's an aesthetic thing to you, it's easy to do. The other one is sometimes it's really good to do a very, very light brushing of oil, because then you guarantee that you don't have any issues with pieces coming up. But I am seeing that I'm having a little bit of an issue here, and that makes me think that maybe it needs a little more time, because when they're perfectly done, they do tend to pop right off without any problem. Now, I will say that nailing that time is something that's dependent on where you live. So humidity level affects that, altitude affects that, and of course the moisture content of whatever it is you're dehydrating is going to affect that too. For me, I'm thinking that this is not quite as crunchy as I like. It gets a little bit crunchier as it cools off, but I think it needs a little more time. I think I jumped the gun. So I think I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on. But in the meantime, let me just tell you about the price, because that's really the only thing we haven't talked about. Now, before I get to the price, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to my channel. It's super easy. A click or a tap on that red subscribe button and we're connected. Also, give me some feedback. Thumbs up if you found this useful. Leave a comment telling me what else you wish I would have demonstrated or what you found really interesting or helpful. And with that, let's talk about the price. This is the Rovsun DH-508 5-tray food dehydrator, and it's $65.99 at shop.rovsun.com. You might poke around and see if you can find it somewhere else, but if you buy it from their store, you know you get the real thing. And there's lots to like here. You know, is this the perfect dehydrator? You know, is there such a thing? But this is a really nice design. I really like the rectangular layout. I really like the digital display once you get the hang of it. And of course, I'm really going to like these apples once I finally get them fully dehydrated. With that, I will hope to catch you in my next video.